r/AskReddit by Reddit. Teachers who regularly get invited to high school reunions. What are the most amazing transformations, common patterns, epic stories, saddest declines, etc. you've seen through the years? Also not a teacher, but have been out of high school, all girls school, for 6 years. At our 5-year reunion, I caught up with girl who was severely bullied during HS. She fell off a horse in grade 8 while riding competitive and legit snapped her spine and was in a very intense back brace for her entire high school career, and my god, the other girls were so nasty to her. She would get made fun of for her appearance, and there was an incident where someone filmed her in class without her knowledge and then edited the video to have all these sexual innuendos around her back brace, and it was posted on Facebook. Our principal was also a horrible woman, and when the video got reported to the principal somehow blamed this girl instead of penalizing the bully. She ended up having to stay back a year because her disability was so bad and she couldn't complete her schoolwork and was unable to graduate. She was incredibly religious as well, and other girls used to make weird Christian incest jokes about her mom having to bathe her because she couldn't bathe herself due to her back brace. Anyway, she's now doing some fancy medical degree in the UK and is pain-free and out of the back brace. She looks amazing, healthy, glowing, and rigorously kicks ass at the gym every day to physically rehabilitate her body. The best part of the story is that she has absolutely no ill will to the girls who bullied her. It upset her at the time, but she didn't let it scar her. She knew that her bullies were obviously insecure and dealing with some inner demons if they went out of their way to ruin her life. She felt bad for them more than anything. I run into her at the gym all the time, and it's so nice to see her so confident and thriving. Not a teacher, but interesting nonetheless. The valedictorian of my graduating class lost his full ride to state college after 2 quarters because of drinking and drugs. He grew up in a protected and very strict household. Once he left and got exposed to the temptations of life, he didn't know how to handle it. Last I heard, he's working odd jobs and is bumming around our hometown. That's something that's been becoming more and more prevalent. Some parents are extremely controlling, set astronomical standards, and don't allow their children to experience failure. That kid probably got A's and B's in his college classes, but thought he was a failure because he didn't achieve 100% in all his classes, and thus lost confidence in himself. I sat beside this girl Joni in grade 8. She was so smart and really pretty. She would always finish the year with like 95 averages, even as high as 98 in some subjects. I was a hooligan, that's why I was seated next to her. She would help me with stuff, always let me copy her homework, peek at tests. There's no way I would have passed without her. The teacher would always say you'll never get anywhere if you just copy Joni all the time. She works the drive-thru at A&W now, has a herd of children with some skeezy looking dude who's in and out of jail. Breaks my heart when I see her. So much potential to end up flipping burgers. I always wonder where it went wrong for her. 9 times out of 10, terrible home life. Just finally got to her. Found someone who loved her like she wasn't at home and got pregnant. If you only love you 20%, finding someone who loves you 30% feels like winning the lottery. Not a teacher, but a girl I used to be interested in since elementary school. We were really close friends. I'd even work for her dad when I was a kid, stuffing envelopes for him to send out to his clients. Just basic stuff that he offered us 10 cents per envelope to be a nice guy. In high school, we drifted a little bit apart, and she started dating another friend of mine who shortly after opted out of that relationship because she wanted him to make her pregnant. Fast forward a couple years after graduation, she did have children, who she then suffocated when they were 3 years old and 22 months old. Sentenced to over 40 years in jail. She was smart, pretty, and charming, and now she might never see the outside world again. Needless to say, she didn't make it to the 10-year reunion. That took a sharp turn. In high school, I was pretty good friends with a guy that was a bit overweight, about 6 feet 4 inches, really smart and a bit nerdy. Lost track of him after high school, but saw him at our 10-year reunion. He was the talk of the reunion. Still tall, lost all the weight, and was in great shape, had long hair like Fabio, and was a doctor. He showed up with a beautiful wife. He gave us his contact info and invited us to Atlanta to stay with him in his huge house. After the reunion I tried to get in touch. Contact info didn't work, and through some sleuthing I found out he was neither married nor a doctor. He was still in good shape, can't fake that, but faked everything else. I have a few. One guy was this star pupil. Smart, handsome, athletic, everything. Dating the head cheerleader. Some Hallmark movie shit. They leave, go off to college, and nobody thinks it'll go wrong. Come 10 years later, she divorced him, was given the house his late grandfather built in the divorce, and lived there with her new lover. While he was in a hotel, 10-year reunion happens. He's deathly skinny and depressed. Sees the school, remembers the memories he had, goes home after reunion and kills himself, leaving behind 2 little girls. His ex got chased out of the community last year. Death threats against her and her lover. She's trying to get in contact with people now because the lover took her money and fled back to the Philippines, and she's homeless now. A former student of mine grew up in an ultra-conservative Christian home. He and his siblings were never allowed to socialize with other students during lunch and recess. Whenever they had free time at school they had to read their Bibles. In science class they were forbidden to learn about evolution. Every essay, short story, personal narrative, and poem he wrote for me involved some kind of Christian theme. When he graduated, he immediately enrolled in a big seminary in our area, and that was the last I heard of him until his class invited me to their 10-year reunion. This same kid showed up with sleeve tattoos, piercings everywhere, slamming beer after beer after beer, and smoking like a locomotive. When I asked what he was doing now, he responded he currently was a bouncer at a strip club. I'd like to sit down and talk to that guy and hear his story. Sounds like he went on quite a journey. I still talk to him from time to time, and he says he's truly happy with his life journey simply because he made the journey himself without his mother telling him what to do. That's wonderful. It's great to see people making their own paths in life. I'm late to the party and will get buried, but here goes nothing. Not a teacher. Well, technically I am, but this is a story from my reunion. But at my school reunion everyone from my class was doing as well as or better than could be expected, except for one guy. Let's call him John. At school John was a smart kid, well-mannered, pretty quiet, and taller than anyone else. We were actually pretty good friends at the time, but lost touch after a while. This was before social networks. I know he went to university to study computer science, and the last thing I heard about him was that he had gotten married and had 2 kids. Anyways, I was looking forward to seeing him and finding out what he was up to for the past 15 years, but he didn't show up. Later the teacher told us that she tried to contact him, but no one knows where he is. He left one day to go to work and never came back. No bodies have been found. He hasn't contacted his wife or sister. He simply vanished into thin air. I tried finding him online numerous times, but to no avail. I still try from time to time. I just hope he is safe and well. Not a teacher, but I went to my 20th about 5 years ago. The woman organizing the event was in my class since 3rd grade and was always bright, intelligent, charming, and pretty. She was very active in high school and by all counts had a very bright future. Speaking to her at the reunion, it seemed that had happened for her. We talked about her self-help/life coaching company and how they are growing and doing great. I asked her to send me more information when I got home, which is on the other side of the country. I got an email from her introducing me to her West Coast partner, whose email was from the LosAngeles.com, which I thought sounded very contrary to what I was expecting. A quick look at their website had me immediately worried, and a short Google later I saw that they are an offshoot of the NXIVM cult that has been all over the news. The woman I was talking to, that I knew since age 8, was Lauren Salzman, who just this week pleaded guilty to holding 2 sex slaves locked in a room for 2 years. She was trying to recruit me and basically everyone at the reunion into NXIVM. I noped right out of that email conversation and have been watching everything unfold for the last 5 years. They are all looking at some serious jail time now. Edit. Holy smokes. Thanks for the plunder and the karma. My biggest comment yet. Yay cake. not a teacher, but a semester after we graduated, my valedictorian and class president kinda pooped it. He dropped out of a full ride to the tier 1 university we both went to, started drinking and doing drugs heavily, and got arrested. It was very sad, especially because he was the kid who never drank or smoked and went to parties just to hang out with people. Really sweet dude. I personally believe it was because of the kind of farm life, beer and bonfire lifestyle we all had, and the friends he made in our senior year. The first homecoming we all went to was the first time I had ever seen him wasted, and he was drinking with all the high schoolers that whole weekend. It just made me a little sad to see him get dragged out of the life that he almost had. Thank you for watching Reddit. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more r/AskReddit videos. Share your stories in the comments section below.